Okay, so if you're building a software company, you've definitely heard the question. So, what's your free trial strategy? I mean, the pressure to just give your product away is huge. It's become the standard growth playbook. But what if that playbook is actually holding you back?
Just check out this quote. This comes from a founder who spent weeks, literally weeks, obsessing over how to build the perfect free trial. He learned all the best practices, did all the research, and then he did something pretty radical. He scrapped the entire idea.
I mean, it sounds totally backward, right? How can giving your product away for free hurt your business? Well, the answer to that question reveals a really deep truth about how software is actually sold today. So let's break it all down.
All right, first up, let's dig into the numbers that kind of created this whole free trial first mindset. We got to understand the data that made this the default strategy for so many companies.
You know, the logic behind it seems super simple. Let people try before they buy. It gets rid of the friction, it builds trust. It's really the core idea behind a whole strategy called product-led growth. But when you actually dig into the conversion data, the story starts to get a lot more interesting.
Okay, look at this. The gap on this chart is massive. An opt-in trial, that's where you just ask for an email, no strings attached, converts around 18% of people. But an opt-out trial, where you actually require a credit card up front, that converts at nearly 49%. That's a 2.5 times better conversion rate. It just proves that asking for a credit card, even though it scares some people off, is an incredible filter for finding serious buyers.
And now let's put that in perspective. Compared to the whole freemium model, giving a basic version of your product away forever, that converts at a tiny 2 to 5%. So yeah, free trials are way better than freemium, but the type of trial you offer changes absolutely everything. The details really matter here.
Okay, so let's say a trial is the right move for you. What's the secret sauce? What separates a trial that actually converts from one that just burns cash? Well, it all comes down to a few key principles. Let's take a look at the winning playbook.
This right here, this is it. The absolute #1 most important metric for any successful trial is time to value. It's that aha moment when a user goes from asking, what is this thing, to, wow, I totally need this. If that moment doesn't happen and happen fast, you've already lost them.
So how fast is fast? We're talking under 5 minutes. Seriously, think about Canva. You can create a really professional-looking design in just seconds. Or a tool like Ahrefs. You get super valuable data almost instantly. That immediate payoff is exactly what makes a free trial work.
And this slide really nails how you actually get to that value fast. You see those generic product tours on the right, the ones that just pointed buttons? Yeah, they have a dismal 10% completion rate. They just don't work. What does work? Guiding a user to their first win. You got to focus on their goal, not on your features.
And you know what? This exact same logic applies to your emails. Those generic, time-based drip campaigns are just so easy to ignore. But emails that are triggered by a user's actual behavior inside your app, those feel personal, they feel helpful, and the data shows they convert 3 to 4 times better. It's a no-brainer.
And get this, here's something that might surprise you. As you can see on this timeline, longer trials often have worse conversion rates. A 30-day trial just creates this I'll get to it later mindset. And you know what? Later almost never happens. A 7-day trial creates urgency. It forces users to engage right now to see the value before it's gone.
All right, so now we have the playbook for a winning trial, right? Fast time to value, really good onboarding, and a bit of urgency. So that brings us back to that founder from the beginning. Why on earth did he walk away from all this?
Simple. His product just didn't fit the model. At all. Its value wasn't immediate. It was something that compounded over weeks, not minutes. A 7-day trial would barely even scratch the surface. Plus, and this is a big one, every single free user had a real infrastructure cost for things like AI and monitoring. A free trial was literally bleeding money for every user who didn't convert.
And that realization, it forced him to question the entire strategy that free trials are even built on, product-led growth, or PLG. PLG is this huge idea that the product itself should do all the selling, with users signing up and converting all on their own, without ever needing to talk to a person.
But here's the thing, PLG has a counterpart, sales-led growth, or SLG. This is the more traditional model of demos, conversations, and actually building relationships. PLG is built for speed and scale. SLG is built for complex products and high-value deals where that human trust is absolutely essential. The choice isn't just about a trial, it's about your entire go-to-market strategy.
So the big question is, how do you decide which path is right for your product? Well, the research actually gives us a really clear framework for this.
Okay, so you should absolutely offer a free trial if your product delivers that aha moment in minutes, the benefits are super obvious, free users don't really cost you much, and you've got the automation in place to guide them. This is the classic profile for a product-led growth company.
But on the flip side, you should probably just skip the trial altogether if your product's value unfolds over time. Free users are expensive, your customers are already highly motivated, and you can build that trust in other ways, like with a really good guided demo.
This table breaks it down even more strategically. You can see a PLG-first approach just sings when the product is simple and the buyer is an individual or maybe a small team. Trust is built by simply using the thing. SLG-first, on the other hand, is way better when the product is complex, the buyer is a big enterprise, and trust has to be built through human relationships.
But here's the real kicker. In today's world, this whole debate, it's not really about choosing one or the other anymore. The smartest companies, they're blending these models together.
So what does that actually look like? Well, here's how a modern hybrid model works in action. You use a free trial to land a ton of new users at scale. Then, you analyze their usage data to spot accounts that are showing high intent. That data automatically triggers a conversation with your sales team, who can then focus their energy on expanding that account. You get the scale of PLG with the high-touch conversion power of SLG.
And maybe the most sophisticated, the most powerful version of this whole thing is what some people call freemium plus trial. See, users get a permanent free plan, but they start with a limited time trial of all the premium features. This gets you a high volume of signups, shows them the product's full potential, and then uses the awesome psychological power of loss aversion to drive conversions when that trial finally ends.
So at the end of the day, it all boils down to this one single fundamental question for you to answer. Is your product built to sell itself with an instant aha moment that just clicks, or is it built to be sold, requiring human trust and guidance? Answering that question honestly is the very first step to building your growth engine.